Hi family, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. Welcome back. My name is Victoria and I'm a nursing student. On this channel we'll discuss nursing challenges, health talk, lifestyle, and a little bit of everything. Feel free to join my family by clicking on the red button to subscribe, and let's grow together. On today's video we'll be talking about hypertension, misconception, silent killer, and a way out of them all. Yes, and I would like to give a little bit disclaimer to this video. This video is to educate you as a nursing student and never to take the place of your doctor. Hypertension is a very wide topic that I won't really go deep into it, but what I actually plan to achieve through this video is to change most of our misconception and at the same time open our eye to how hypertension can kill, which is the silent killer, and way out of everything. Hypertension is a serious medical condition that can damage the brain, kidney, and even the heart, and other diseases that hypertension can cause. Now, what is hypertension? Hypertension is a chronic disease characterized by elevation of blood pressure. Each time the heart beats, it pumps blood into the blood vessel. So blood pressure is created by the force of blood pushing against the wall of the artery as it pumps by the heart. Hypertension generally or basically is just when the blood pressure is high. That is what hypertension is all about, when your blood pressure is high. Blood pressure is written in two numbers. Number one is systolic, which is the high one. That's when the heart contracts, that's what the systolic aspect of blood pressure is. Then number two, which is the diastolic, is when the heart relaxes. Like I said, is measured in two numbers, systolic and diastolic, which is when the heart contracts and when the heart relaxes. That's when blood pressure is being measured. Now let's talk about BP, which is blood pressure, the categories, stages, and when it's been said that your blood pressure is high. We have 5 categories. We have normal, we have elevated, we have hypertension stage 1, we have hypertension stage 2, and we have hypertensive crisis. That's when it has gone out of the normal everything, the normal stage of it, let me put it that way. So I will put out the range and everything so that you will see how you can say, okay, my blood pressure is high or is elevated or is stage 1, stage 2, and when you can say this is hypertensive crisis. Number one, for you to classify that you have your blood pressure is normal, is when your systolic is less than 120 and your diastolic is less than 80. So you can say my blood pressure is normal. When will you say that your blood pressure is elevated, which is number 2? Your blood pressure is elevated when the systolic is 120 to 129 and the diastolic is less than 80 millimeter mercury. Then number 3, when can you say that your high blood pressure is stage 1? Your high blood pressure is stage 1 when your systolic is 130 to 139 and your diastolic is 80 to 89 millimeter mercury. You will say that's when someone will say that your blood pressure is high, you have entered stage 1 of high blood pressure. Then what about stage 2, hypertension stage 2, which is number 4 category? You will say that, so we can say that you have entered stage 2 when your systolic is 140 and your diastolic is 90 millimeter mercury. We'll say that you have entered stage 2 of hypertension. Then when can we say that someone has hypertensive crisis, which is stage 5? And in this particular stage, you actually need to consult your doctor immediately. If you have not really gone unconscious, you need to call your doctor's attention. That is when your systolic is 180 and your diastolic is 120 millimeter mercury, that is when you can say that you have entered, you have gone to the highest stage. And from that 180 above is very, very dangerous. Now, who are the people that are at risk of hypertension? How can I say this person is at risk? Who are the people at risk of hypertension? Number one, on people that doesn't take care of their health, I would say unhealthy diet, people that doesn't really eat well. For example, too much of salt in your meal, low intake of fruit and vegetable, lack of exercise when you don't exercise, people that take tobacco, alcohol, obesity, or when you have added too much weight, obesity, family history of hypertension. If you are in your family, you people suffer from or has the disease of hypertension, there is every tendency that somebody will have it, but you can as well control it. You can as well tell yourself that for the fact that my family history is of hypertension, I am not going to suffer from hypertension. So family history, people that is 65 years and above, and at the same time people that are suffering from one disease or the other, like diabetes, can at the same time trigger hypertension. Now, what are the complications of hypertension? Chest pain, heart attack, heart failure, irregular heartbeat, which can actually lead to sudden death. It can also block the artery that supplies blood and oxygen to the brain, thereby leading to stroke. It can also cause kidney damage, thereby leading to kidney failure. So hypertension can cause many things in our body, in our system, if we don't really take care of our body and monitor our high blood pressure or our blood pressure. Let me put it that way, because you must monitor your blood pressure before you can say you have hypertension. Now, how do we prevent hypertension? You have to limit the intake of food high in saturated fat. Avoid alcohol intake. If at all you must take alcohol, it must be in a little quantity. Avoid tobacco intake. You have to create the habit of exercise. At the same time, control your weight, limit stress, and eat very well. You must eat especially fruit and vegetable. We have to see it in your meal. What you eat. You can't be eating burger and you want to be like somebody that is eating carrot and vegetable. At the same time, you have to reduce your salt intake to 5 grams in a day. Your daily salt intake should not pass 5 grams in a day. What are the management of hypertension? Number one, you have to reduce and manage stress. You have to manage other medical conditions. If you're someone that is suffering from diabetes, manage all those things so that it won't trigger it. Number three, you need to treat the high blood pressure or monitor it, and at the same time make sure that you don't do things that will trigger your high blood pressure. You need to rest. Complete rest in whatever you're doing. You need to rest. You need to listen to your body. You need to monitor your blood pressure. The truth of everything is that for you to actually say that you are managing your blood pressure, you must monitor it. There is no way you can manage your blood pressure without having your monitor it, to know if you're fit for the day to run around, or you actually need to sit down in your house and rest. Silent killer. Yeah, I say hypertension, normally we also call it a silent killer, because hypertension can kill. Why? Because most of the people that has hypertension doesn't even know they have it. You see somebody, maybe when that person comes to hospital for one thing or the other, and the first thing the matron will ask us, we students, to do is check the person her vital signs. And when you check the vital signs, you find out that person blood pressure is high. When the question comes like, are you having blood pressure? The person will say, God forbid. Even when you tell the person that, look, your blood pressure is high, maybe after the doctor must have seen the patient and everything, you will see someone, you will see the patient reacting like, God forbid. Yeah, that's 4 stages of dying. which is denial, and they will deny it. And when they deny it, it takes the grace of God for you to convince them that they have blood pressure. So some of them, we are just moving around, we don't check our BP, we don't know what is going on, and that can actually lead to sudden death, because people can just die anyhow. So we need to check our blood pressure regularly as African, especially because I have some things that I've noticed in the hospital that is actually making me to pull out this video, not to go deep, but to open our eyes that some of the deaths is not just somebody that killed us. And not, I know there are bad people out there that really out to tamper with people's health and all the rest, which we believe. But at the same time, I would like us to do our part. When we do our part first, then you can convince me that this thing you're trying to say is not ordinary, is not really ordinary. Misconception in Nigeria. Clinical posting to FMC and all the rest in Nigeria here really opened my eyes to many things. They can be, sometimes they look funny and at the same time serious. One fateful morning like that, there was a patient that the family member brought in unconscious. And when they brought her in, one of the family member was just crying, shouting like, hey, they want to kill you. I told you not to go for that traditional marriage, but you insisted that you must go. Now look at the cost. Now look at the, and the way the woman was, talking, sometimes they will even like block your way of doing what you want to do. And me, I was like, madam, please, can you shift a bit? Let me check the vital signs. It was like, I know this is not a hospital thing. This is not a hospital thing. I told them, let us take her to somewhere, and they brought her here. So after everything, after more checkup and everything, we did these vital signs, and the doctors did their cracking and everything. We'll find out that the patient's blood pressure was actually high to 180, and the blood sugar was also high. Now, thank God for the doctors and the medical team. They run around. After much intervention and all the rest, the woman came back to fit and regained her consciousness. And this really taught me a lesson. Had it been that woman died in the hospital or on their way bringing that woman to hospital, what do you think would have happened? What do you think what do you think the family member would say hearing such statement from one of the family member? You know what it is, because it would be like, oh, where she went to, they have killed her, all the rest, not knowing that woman's blood pressure was actually high and she didn't check it. Blood sugar was actually high too, and she didn't check all those things before going out. So a lot of people have died that way. That is why we say that high blood pressure is a silent killer. And at the same time, our misconception, the way we think, the way we don't even, like, when someone died, we don't really bring it home, like, what was that person's blood pressure? Was that person a hypertensive patient? Was ill managed? You ask yourself some question before you question blame somewhere. So our advice, every home, we need to have our blood pressure monitor at home. Whether you have it, whether you don't have it, every home supposed to have it. I have it. I even have two. I have the automatic one and I have the manual one. Though I use the manual one for clinical posting, but you need to have it at home. And if you have an elderly person at home, you teach that person how to check it. You don't need to tell the person to tell me, oh, what is your systolic and diastolic today? No. When you buy the automatic one, now let me show you the one I have at home. Please, I am not marketing any products. This is what I use. I've not even grown to the stage of marketing anything on YouTube. But I just want to show you what I use at home, which is the automatic one. That is very simple to use. It's easy to calculate. You can teach your mother, your father how to use it, and they will use it. It's very simple. It uses battery. It's just a connection. When you connect it here, you open it and you fix it on your hand, left hand. It works this way. Sorry. You put it this way. When you fix it, you lock it up. You can teach your mom, your dad. So when you fix it here, you just, what you do is to press the button. To press the start button. When you press it, it will start. You're hearing the sound. It will start reading. You just have to have this. It's very simple. It's not like the one we use in hospital that we have to press fit all the time before we get what we want. This one is very simple, that your parents can, you can have it at home, and your parents can at the same time watch it. So it's reading. It's actually reading now. I'm not supposed to talk while checking my BP like this, but it's just because I need to explain things to you. That's why I am actually talking. Now, after reading, it will relax, and you will have 3 numbers. This actually monitor your pulse, and your BP at the same time. So what you do is just to tell your mom, your dad, Mama, have you checked your BP today? Every other day, they should check their BP. You ask them, have you checked your BP today? And if they say no, you force them, you try to make them check their BP. And when they check it, ask them, what is the first number? They will tell you. What is the second number? They will tell you. What is the third number? They will tell you. And you yourself, knowing fully well that the first number is systolic, and the second number is diastolic, and the third one is the pulse. You yourself can do the mathematics and know that, and know if this person is fit to go out that day, or if that person needs to take his or her drugs. So that is how to manage it. Let's limit deaths. Actually, when I see them in the hospital, I feel like crying, because that person have gone beyond management before you brought that person in. And you came in, you want a magic, you want them to do magic and everything will just be okay. It's not like that. Let's help ourselves, and God will also help us. I know God heals every disease. He's the one that, can heal unhealables. But let us try as much as possible to help ourselves at home. Let's have this monitor. Let's monitor our BP. I do my own. Every other day, I check my BP. I check my blood sugar. All those things, I check them, because I want to control it. And when you're adding weight, you ask yourself, like now, me, I'm at home, lockdown, adding weight. I told myself, you need to watch it. Fine, there are still some people obese that they don't have blood pressure, but it's just like 10%. So we need to watch what we eat, limit your salt intake, exercise, eat fruit, eat vegetable. It's not costly. Let's incorporate all those things to our life. Thank you so much for being part of my channel today. And if you're just passing by, you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe. Click the red button and subscribe to my channel. If you have any question, you drop your comment down. If you have any suggestion or anything you want to add to this, you can drop it on the comment box and let us talk or discuss together. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful, and if you like it, give me a thumbs up and comment. At the same time, subscribe to my channel. See you on my next video. Thank you and have a blessed day. Bye.